Hey Sora, guess what? I'm thinking of writing a novel. I can already see it. One day, I'll be known as the great Professor Ryu. What do you think?
Whoa, what happened, Ryu? Did you eat something weird?
Nah, I just want to write a novel and be called a literary genius. I mean, doesn't that sound cool?
What on earth did this guy eat? But Ryu, let me tell you, many famous writers were actually pretty crazy. Today, I'm going to introduce the top 3 most despicable literary geniuses in history, ranked for your enjoyment. And believe me, the number 1 spot is truly despicable. Third place, Nakahara Chuya, the troubled poet and his despicable acts. Starting at number 3, we have Nakahara Chuya. Born in 1907 into a prestigious family in Yamaguchi Prefecture. He was mentally scarred by his parents' strict upbringing and turned rebellious. He began writing poetry after losing his younger brother at the age of 8, but
sounds like a poet, right? But his life was a total train wreck.
He was notorious for his despicable behavior, causing trouble with drinking and fighting. Check out some of these nasty episodes. One night, Chuya got drunk with his buddies and smashed the streetlight outside a town councilman's house. Jobless and with zero social standing, he ended up spending 15 days in jail.
He'd hit up bars every night, picking fights and destroying the place's reputation until it closed down within a year. When drunk, he was an absolute menace.
He once met writer Engo Sakaguchi at a bar and, fueled by alcohol, tried to start a fight but ended up just throwing punches at the air. Engo laughed his head off, and everyone else was just done with him.
Chuya once got jealous of a younger, successful writer, Nakamura Hiroo, and hit him with a beer bottle. Then started bawling, saying, "I'm so sad." Fighting and crying talk about childish. He juggled multiple lovers while his main relationship with Hasegawa Yasuko crumbled due to his constant cheating. He was his own worst enemy, driving away everyone who cared about him.
Known for causing drama among writers, his bad temper and constant clashes with friends made him a notorious figure. He was led purely by jealousy and impulsive emotions.
Chuya eventually lost his beloved son, which completely broke him. He died of tuberculous meningitis at the age of 30. His poetry captures his chaotic life and inner pain. His whole existence was a reflection of his art.
Second place, Dazai Osamu, the serial suicide attempter and master manipulator. Next up at number 2, Dazai Osamu. Born in 1909 to a wealthy family in Aomori Prefecture. He had a lonely childhood despite his privileged upbringing. He went to Tokyo University, but lived a reckless and despicable life after his literary debut.
The guy attempted suicide 5 times, it's insane. His first attempt was an overdose at 20. Then a failed double suicide with a hostess where only she died. It was pure tragedy.
Yeah, and then he attempted suicide with his common-law wife. Tried to hang himself, and ultimately drowned with his mistress, Yamazaki Tomie. Some say Tomie's death face was twisted in fear.
When he didn't win the Akutagawa Prize, he sent threatening letters to the judges, throwing tantrums with every rejection. He even wrote a 4-meter-long letter. Talk about obsessive.
His famous work, Run, Mellows, is just a facade. He once took money from his friend, Hori Tatsuya, then abandoned him as a hostage at an inn while he ran back to Tokyo. Friendship? Not so much.
He also clashed with other writers, like Shiga Naoya, whom he called a bundle of self-approval, constantly picking fights with literary figures.
Dazai's tangled love life was a mess. Despite having a wife and children, he constantly took on new lovers. eventually dragging Yamazaki Tomie into a deadly double suicide. Dazai's death face was calm, but Tomie's was reportedly twisted in terror. Truly despicable. First, Ishikawa Takuboku, the selfish borrower and moral degenerate. And finally, the #1 spot goes to Ishikawa Takuboku. His despicable acts stand out above the rest. Born in 1886 in Iwate Prefecture, he grew up in a chaotic family environment, with his father losing his job as a temple priest.
Takuboku was a chronic borrower. He skipped his own wedding, couldn't afford train fare home, and borrowed money from friends, only to blow it on entertainment. A wedding without the groom? Unbelievable.
He borrowed a staggering 1,300 yen, equivalent to about 13 million yen today, or roughly $93,000, and spent it all at brothels. His best friend, Kendaichi Kyosuke, never saw his money back. And Takuboku even pawned his friend's watch for drinking money.
He would often invite friends out, promising, "It's on me," only to stick them with the bill. His friends really suffered because of him.
His treatment of his mother was also atrocious. He'd demand she make him dumplings in the middle of the night, then throw them away, saying, "I don't want them anymore." Zero respect for family.
As a newspaper reporter, he often skipped work, claiming he didn't have train fare. He left his family to fend for themselves, abandoning his wife during a fight and never looking back.
His notorious poem, "I Want Everyone Who Has Made Me Bow My Head to Die," shows his lack of gratitude and spite towards those who helped him. Despicable doesn't even begin to cover it.
And his scandalous romanized diary was filled with explicit details about his visits to brothels, complaints about friends, and gripes about his wife. Every page reeks of selfishness.
Takuboku died at 26 from tuberculosis, crushed by life's hardships. While his work gained fame posthumously, his despicable nature makes him one of the most controversial figures in Japanese literature. So there you have it, the top 3 most despicable literary geniuses. What did you think? Of course, there are honorable writers like Natsume Soseki, but today was all about the wild ones.
Wow! Some of the greatest works really do come from the minds that live in a world of madness and obsession, far beyond what ordinary people can understand.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn, not just from their works, but from the lives they led as well.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. See you in the next one.
See you next time.